Seeds and Trees, a storybook by Walden. A story about the power of words. In the land of a king lived a special young prince who loved climbing trees and playing with friends. The prince lived in a castle overlooking the sea and played in a field with two kinds of trees. The prince carried a satchel low on the waist to contain all the seeds that they might want to exchange. Each seed was a word that someone had spoken. Each seed was then collected as a trinket or a token. It didn't really matter where it had come from, a stranger, a friend, or a whisper just made up. The prince rose every morning to water those seeds from each of the words that they'd already received. When someone had spoken nicely, not anything mean, they'd give the prince a seed whose essence was green. But sometimes the seeds would come up bringing pain, seeds of a confusing color whose trees produced shame. Several of those chaotic, confusing seeds grew quickly, then withered. Others remained to grow slowly, unhindered. At the end of each day, the prince would admire the seeds and go plant some new ones and play in the trees. The trunks and the branches of the scary trees were laden with thistles and thorns, causing more pain as the prince scaled them. Climbing these trunks and these branches was tricky. Each part of the tree that the prince grasped was quite prickly. Each time the prince climbed, they were bruised and slit. Yet trees are for climbing, so through the pain the prince went. Each time they climbed the trees of green, the prince felt safe and healed, as those trees weren't mean. The green trees grew strong and they welcomed the prince. Their branches grew fruit that we could eat or clutch. The prince would sit at the base or climb the tree to peek. The prince would rest in the branches or play just hide and seek. As the years passed, the prince noticed the green trees were weakening. The trunks at the base of the tree needed strengthening. The soil had hardened as life was escaping, their canopy covered by those other chaotic, confusing trees that now shaded them. The prince would plant green seeds and the confusing seeds beside each other. Then they'd war with one another, each trying to survive. The green trees of kind words were strongest and got plenty of sunshine, but the chaotic seeds grew stronger during nighttime, even without the sunshine. They shared some of the same water and sunlight to grow, but the dark, mean trees were hiding the fruit that would show. The green trees caused life and peace to grow near, but the mean seeds killed soil and grew trees clothed in fear. The field the prince planted was starting to grow. Two trees of two kinds and the fruit that had grown. The fruit fell like seeds to the soil below, seeds to be gathered or given to sow. The prince invited some friends to come play. The prince had one special friend who always spoke truth. They never spoke harshly, they never spoke lies. They always replied lovingly and with gentle replies. This friend gave green seeds and never took back. They never ran out, and there was never a lack. Pretty soon the prince's satchel was overflowing with green seeds. The prince's friend watched the prince water and pretty soon invited their friend to come along. To the grove, we will look down below at the roots in the soil and the trees that have grown. We will care for green trees and even plant more seeds. But the dark, mean trees still seemed rooted. After years of planting and watering seeds, there were now many green, powerful ones, but mean ones too. The roots of the green trees were getting smaller because the mean trees' roots were getting so big. The prince's friend carried an axe, a saw, and a shovel. The friend asked the prince to pick out a tree, one of the ones causing pain, one of the mean ones. She took out her axe, swung, and the tree fell to the ground. The root had to die and be plucked from the earth. Then a green seed was planted and covered with earth. The prince said, "Can you cut down more of the mean trees?" And their friend said, "Yes, I've got plenty of new seeds." She used her tools, the axe and the saw and the shovel, taking out all the mean trees and planting more green seeds. The prince was happy, traveling through the abounding fields and forests. To the grove, we will look down below at the roots in the soil and the trees that have grown. We will care for the green trees and even plant more seeds. But the mean trees will fall as new life is sown. What a wonderful story about be careful what you water because it will surely grow. And learning all about how important the words that we say, if they're green trees or mean seeds,